As we saw in the previous video, the two girls have moved to the capital where they will be starting a new career as knights. At the town of Nova, they get informed that the ruler of this town is a Highland, and all the townspeople are grateful, which means not all Highlanders are bad. After 10 days, the girl realized the necessity of learning how to spend their money or they will be in a serious trouble. The owner of the food shop they have been visiting suggests for them to work at the castle, since the ruler is hiring knights and mercenaries to help with Majes's beast attack. The girls find it a good idea, so they go to check this offer. First, they easily passed the entrance exam where they had to fight few knights. After this, they are given good bedrooms and other amazing things. However, Inglis feels uncomfortable, and it seems to her that small amount of magic it's being drawn away from beneath everyone's feet. As they are having a bath, a young lady called Celine joins them, and she turns out to be the ruler of the town. The two girls realize how kind and caring she is, so Inglis take advantage and ask her about why the magic flu in the city seems so strange. Celine says she doesn't know the reason, but she tells them another story about the knights who served under the old ruler. They were a wicked bunch, so she hired them all because she noticed their violence toward the townspeople had become a problem. Now they seem to be planning for something, so she asks the two girls to help her dealing with them before something happens. The girls head towards the hideout of these knights. There they meet their leader and a bunch of guards, who quickly rush to surround the girls in fear. Rafina uses her arrow to scare them, but it gets blocked by a red-haired girl who turns out to be Hyrule Menace just like Eris. Inglis feels extremely happy to face such a powerful opponent, so she asks Rafina to protect Celine while she takes care of the red-haired girl on her own. Rafina is so good when it comes to fighting ordinary knights, and she manages making the sky rain arrows on them. Back to the girls, who seems to be craving a wide fight. A Hyrule Menace attacks first to test Inglis' power and realize from the first hit that her opponent is not an ordinary knight. Then they start a series of spare hits and punches. After a while, the other girl asks why Inglis is standing on Highlander's side, because her kind are trying to steal away the surface. Inglis says that the ruler is nice and her people love her, so it seems right being on her side, but her opponent reveals that the flow of magic has changed in the town, which means the ruler is not good as they think. Upon hearing this, the Hyrule Menace feels angry and attacks Inglis mercilessly in an attack that ignores space and distance. They both unleash their true hidden powers, but Inglis wins at the end. Rafina shows up after that to inform Inglis that she dealt with the enemies outside, so Hyrule Menace take advantage of this to flee away. Before she leaves, she introduces herself as Sistia Roj, then she disappears. The next day, we see the ruler thanking Inglis and her cousin for the great job they did. She invites them to see a secret place under the castle. As they arrive to their destination, they see a magic circle that drains away the magic from the town. The ruler explains that is the core of the highland, known as the levitation circle. It absorbs the magic from its surroundings, and when it has enough, it breaks the land away from earth around it and brings it to the sky, which means the Nova town will soon become a new highland. If this will happen, the townspeople will either have to leave or become slaves of Highlanders. But the ruler is not planning to let this happen, and she will do her best to make the townspeople happy with their new life. At night, the girls hear a strange voice, so they rush to check it out, but they get surprised after realizing that Celine became a beast. Inglis recalled what happened 3 years ago when Rahl the Highlander was turned into a monster by the Bloodchain Brigade's powder, which means this organization is also involved in today's disaster. Suddenly they spot Mimosa, the servant, laughing, and it turns out she's the one who put the powder in Celine's cup of tea. Sistia arrives at the scene, determined to kill the beast, but Inglis stops her. Suddenly, the leader of the Bloodchain Brigade arrives, announcing that he came to eliminate the Highland, but Inglis doesn't agree and they end up making a deal. The girl claims to have a plan, but if she fails, she promises to let the Bloodchain Brigade to do whatever they want. Inglis says they need to destroy the levitation circle. With the help of the Bloodchain Brigade, they manage freezing the monster and turning her into a small-sized version, which means she will never grow large enough to cause problem to others. The next day, we see the girls visiting the Almen Cathedral, where they discover a huge frozen beast. Inglis wonders if they can melt the ice in order to bring back the creature to life, but a security guy asks them to stay away. Later, we see Inglis helping the girl called Leon Alpha to defeat some monsters, and soon after that, Rafina joins them. At the end of the battle, a commander approaches and thanks only the two cousins, ignoring Leon. He explains that he did so because she is the sister of Leon Alpha, a former Holy Knight who betrayed the country and fled. The girls now recognize that she is the sister of the one who turned Rahl into a monster. Suddenly, Raphael arrives and defends the poor girl, saying she has nothing to do with her brother's betrayal. He introduces them to the ones of nations Hyrule means, called Ripple. Then he attacks them to eat some. On the table, they talk about what happened in Nova Town. and how the magical beast turned her into a cute tiny creature. After this, Leon started talking about her brother and how everyone was proud of him. But then he killed not only a Highlander, but even the inspector from the capital. The girls know what happened in the castle, so they inform her that her brother was not the one who killed the inspector and the Highlander. Leon expresses her determination to become a full-fledged knight in order to capture her brother, which means she will be attending the Knights Academy in the capital city just like the two other girls. Later, Raphael gives order to the frozen monster to the border away from many cities because what's happened lately is a sign that it will revive soon. After this, the group splits up. The girls go to their academy while the knights take the huge monster to a safer place. At the capital Cairo, we see the Prince Wayne welcoming the student in their first day at the Royal Knights Academy. Then they meet their principal, Melera, who seems to be a nice person. However, she makes them change their mind. The principal makes the student fight without artifacts in a field of powerful gravity. At the end of the battle, Inglis manages killing all the monsters, so her teacher offers her free meal tickets as a reward. Later, the three girls get to share the same room and they are extremely happy for this. And while they are talking, they get to know Ratty from the Square program and Pram from the Knights. People inside the buffet start whispering about Leon, but our group ignores them. After breakfast, the student meet Margos, the practical instructor for them, and today he will be showing both the Knights and the Squares some flying gears exercises. He asks them to go towards the flying gear dock, so they will start running, except Inglis, who decides to use the gravity effect in order to get there first. As they arrive, they all get impressed of the latest technology the academy's got. Their teacher asks them to form up into groups, and once their flying gears gets outside, they can get on board. One of the team members takes control and the rest make sure they don't fall. Inglis decides to go first and be the one to take control of the gear. Once she starts piloting, both the student and their teacher get impressed of her potential. At the end of the day, they meet the principal again, who's announcing a special test for them, but only the 5 most brilliant students are recommended. The principal will test them by taking them to different places and see whether they can come back before the time limit's up or not. The place she's taking them to is a special place created by an artifact. It is called the Labyrinth of Trials, and it is made to test their strength and mental fortitude at the same time. And the goal from all this is to enhance their mental health as knights. The principal summons multiple doors, asks them to choose, and each one of them will find an appropriate trial beyond the doors he chooses. Inglis walks through the first door. She starts seeing illusions of every monster she fought before. She keeps walking, and there she also meets the red-haired guy who seemed to know her. It turns out to be the heir of the emperor, Inglis, the man who was set to inherit the kingdom after his death. She starts asking him questions about how the kingdom changed and how the discrimination between people spread like this, but all this man called Randall does is fighting her. The girl effortlessly defeats her opponent, and then she uses her power to break the roof and realize that the 5 spaces of each student are connected to each other. On the first floor, she finds the daughter of the kingdom's chancellor, the one who refused Leon to stay with her in the same room, and now she feels sorry for what she did. The 2 girls decide to discover other floors. They go up to Leon's space where they find her talking to her family's illusion, trying to convince them that her brother is no longer a hero but a traitor. The girl shows off her blade and Inglis decides to help her and managed eliminating all the shadows. The girl shows her blade and Inglis decides to help her and managed eliminating all the shadows. Then we see the daughter of the chancellor apologizing for hurting Leon's feelings. Now the trio decide to head for the top of floor, but they ended up getting out of the whole space. They find the principal outside waiting for them and she announces that they won, unlike Prab, who failed almost immediately. A few minutes later, Rafina also passes the test and gets out of her door successfully. At night, the girls gathers in Lislot's room to fix her relationship with Leon and Rafina. As they enter, they all seem impressed with the furniture, food, and painting on the wall, and we see them ending the evening happy. We just arrived to the end of our video today. I hope you guys enjoyed watching as much as we did. In the next part, we'll be seeing the 3 girls' adventure at the academy, and if the huge beast is going to wake up for real. Make sure you press the subscribe button.